She keeps asking if the pancakes have stars in them, the man said, almost apologetically. She saw a picture somewhere. I don't know how to explain that they don't. The waitress looked down at the little girl, 4 years old, round-cheeked, watching her with the kind of open, unhurried hope that only very young children still carry freely. Then she looked back at the father, tired in the particular way of someone who has been tired for a long time, and has simply made peace with it. "Give me 2 minutes," she said. Her name was Calla Britton, 25 years old, third shift at Harlow's Diner on Meridian Street, the kind of place that smelled like coffee and butter, and had laminated menus with the prices crossed out and rewritten twice. She had been on her feet for 9 hours. She had $43 in tips in her apron pocket, which was a decent night, and a radiator at home that made a sound like someone dragging furniture across the floor above you, which was not. In the kitchen, she found the cookie stamp shaped like a star that the weekend baker used for biscuits. She pressed it gently into the center of each pancake before they went on the plate. She added a small bowl of blueberries on the side, arranged in a loose circle. She carried it out herself. The little girl's face when she saw the plate was the kind of thing you don't forget. "They do have stars," she whispered. Her father looked at the pancakes, then at Calla. Something moved across his face that he quickly rearranged into a smile, but she caught it, that brief, unguarded flash of a man who had not expected kindness today and didn't quite know what to do with it. "Thank you," he said quietly. "Really." "It's nothing," Calla said, and moved on to table 6. His name was Ambrose Teller, 33 years old. His daughter was named Piper, and she had her mother's eyes, gray and calm and curious, and that was something Ambrose both treasured and found quietly difficult. Piper's mother had passed away when Piper was 18 months old. Not dramatically, not with warning. A sudden illness, a short and terrible 2 weeks, and then an absence so complete it had reorganized his entire life around its edges. He had built his company, a mid-sized logistics and supply chain firm, before she was born. After, he had run it the way you run anything when grief is sitting in the passenger seat, mechanically, reliably, without joy, until joy gradually and unexpectedly returned in small forms. In Piper's laugh, in the way she called French fries long potatoes, in star-shaped pancakes she had seen in a picture and believed in completely. He did not come to Harlow's Diner often. He had come tonight because Piper had asked for pancakes specifically, and the diner near their building was closed for renovation, and this one was open and warm and had a hand-painted sign in the window that said "Everyone welcome" in slightly uneven letters, which for reasons he couldn't articulate had made him pull over. He had ordered 2 short stacks and a coffee. When the check came, it was only for the coffee. He looked at it, looked around for their waitress. She was across the room, refilling someone else's cup, moving with the efficient quiet of someone who has learned to work without taking up too much space. He flagged her down. "I think there's been a mistake. The pancakes aren't on here." Calla looked at the check, then at him. "No mistake," she said simply, and turned to go. "Wait," he said it more firmly than he meant to. She stopped. "You can't just, I'd like to pay for our meal." "You did. Coffee's on there." "That's not," he stopped, tried again. "Why?" She looked at him for a moment with the straightforward gaze of someone who does not have time to be complicated about things. "Because she believed in the stars," she said, "and that seemed worth something tonight." She went back to work. Ambrose sat with his coffee for a long time after Piper fell asleep against his arm, her small face slack and trusting, a blueberry still pressed in her palm. Then she put it down. Because it hadn't changed anything about the way he sat, the way he listened, the way he looked at Piper when she wasn't watching, with the full, undefended love of a man who has lost enough to know what matters. What Ambrose did not know was that Calla had covered the pancake bill from her own tips, that $43 had become $31, that she had done it quietly, after her shift, because the policy at Harlow's didn't allow comping without manager approval, and she hadn't wanted to make it a thing. He found out the way these things surface. Her manager mentioned it offhandedly one evening, not realizing he didn't know. He sat with that information for a while. Then he did something that was neither grand nor showy, because he had learned from watching people like Calla that the best kindness rarely is. He spoke to the diner owner about establishing a small fund, anonymously, through a third party, specifically for staff to use at their discretion for moments exactly like that one. No forms, no approval process, just trust. The first note attached to it, in his handwriting on plain paper, read, "For the ones who understand that some things are worth something, tonight." On the last Tuesday before the diner closed for its own renovation, Ambrose came in with Piper, who was wearing a shirt with a star on it, and informed Calla of this immediately upon sitting down. "Very official," Calla said seriously. "It's my pancake shirt," Piper explained. "I wear it on star days." Calla looked at Ambrose. He looked back at her, and for a moment neither of them spoke, and the diner moved around them with its ordinary sounds, and it was enough. "Will you come back?" he asked, "when it reopens?" "I work here," she said. "I know. I meant," a pause, "will you still be here?" She understood what he was asking, and she answered it honestly, the way she answered most things. "I think so," she said quietly. "Yes." Kindness, this story knows, does not require grand stages. It lives in biscuit stamps, pressed into pancake batter. In a bill quietly covered from tip money. In a man who comes back not to repay a debt, but because something in a tired waitress's matter-of-fact goodness reminded him that the world is still, in its small ways, worth believing in. Be the star in someone's ordinary morning. It costs less than you think, and it lasts longer than you know. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.